All right, day 428 of going live. Today, we have a property in Birmingham, Alabama. And I'll show you how I found this property. I'm filtered on 4 bedroom properties, single family homes on Redfin for less than 7 days. And I'm down here in Bessemer. This property is called, I guess, South, just in Bessemer. There's no other neighborhood here. Let's see if there's another neighborhood that's close by. Right next to the Bessemer Housing Authority. Okay. This is really close. Let's see. Wheeling Crossroad to the right of Bessemer. Okay. Now, I'm just going to write Bessemer because that's where it is. That's the closest neighborhood. And the reason why we're pulling in this property is because, one, this seems like a property that's a pretty good floor on a dollar per square foot perspective, $59 a square foot. And the reason I'm calling this a floor is because if you are pursuing the BRRRR strategy, right, which means that you are buying, rehabbing, renting, refinancing, and repeating so that you can use the same amount of capital that you deployed to your original property and you're carrying forward that capital to the next property. How do you do that, right? If you are buying a property for $50,000 and you renovate a property for $20,000, so you're all in at 70 grand, but now you're able to make the home worth $100,000. You have created $30,000 of equity in that scenario. Okay, no, with that $30,000 equity, that can stay in the home because when you go get a debt service coverage ratio loan, DSCR loan, is what it's commonly called, for 70% of the loan value, you can take back out $70,000 in the form of loan proceeds and use that 7 grand to deploy to your next property. And that allows you to rinse and repeat using the same $70,000 cash pile that you had and keep going and going and going. That's why the strategy is so scalable. But what's that contingent upon? It's contingent upon you getting your ARV, your after repair value, correct, especially if you're estimating, right? Because it's an art, it's not a science. And look at this property, 620 19th Street. I mean, if you were buying a property next to it and this property sold for exactly what it is, then as long as the same lot size, same square footage, same bed bath count, same type of finishes, same conditions, right? That will be your perfect comp, for lack of better words. But you typically never do that, right? You might go across man-made borders, like big intersections right here. You might go across natural borders like creeks, valleys, mountains, etc. And now you're in completely different neighborhoods. So the further and further you get away from your comparable property, the higher the risk is. But this property is 3,200 square feet, which is much, much larger than most homes. And if you look at the condition of this home, I would say, hey, it's a pretty much, at least at the very minimum, a cosmetic rehab. I would replace all the flooring. I would probably repaint the entire home. This kitchen's a little dated. You probably want to replace all the appliances. You might want to repaint the cabinets and keep the cabinets in place. But the bathroom is dated. You're probably going to do complete bathroom renovation. So essentially, it's almost a gut job, assuming all the other core aspects are in place, which means you don't have to replace the HVAC, you don't have to replace the roof, you don't have to replace whatever. So there's a lot of assumptions in there, right? But if you said this property is worth 89 square foot, then you can say, hey, I know more likely than not that my home, after I renovate the property, should not be less than $59 per square foot, right? Because this is an unrenovated home. So now you know, as one data point for yourself, is if I am looking to BRRRR a property in this area and I renovate the property, I mean, my worst case scenario isn't zero, right? I didn't spend all this money to make the home worth less than what I bought it for. The chances are, if I renovate the home, there's no way in the world that it should be worth less than $59 a square foot, right? Because this is what a $59 per square foot property looks like. And I'm going to spend all this money renovating a home to make it not worth $59 a square foot. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm always looking for feedback on how to explain things better. So drop a comment if you think that was helpful, or drop a comment if you just have any questions. Happy to answer any questions. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this property, 620 19th Street, into my list of properties that have been coming onto the market by zip code. And I'm going to put this down right here. This is a 4-bed, 2.5 bath. This is 3206 square foot. This was built in year 1962. So this being listed at 189,900. 89,900. That makes it the dollar per square foot equals to 189 divided by 3206, 59 square foot. And you can kind of see that these properties have been coming on roughly around 50, the high 50s on dollar per square foot. Interesting, right? So it's kind of trying to follow the market, what's going on here. And you only know this as you stay on top of all these properties. This was listed 11/30/24. How long's been on? 4 days. 11/27. Excuse me. Okay. And this square foot is 9147 square feet, and there is no garage on this property. Yep. No garage, no basement, no HOA. This is in Bessemer, so now I know where it is. And general condition of the home needs full cosmetic repair. Outside looks fine. Fine, needs complete interior rehab, paint, flooring, and keep kitchen structure, but need new stainless steel appliances, and bathrooms need to be completely remodeled since it's dated, but in good condition. Right? It's dated, but it's looking like in good condition. But now I know just from this comment, hey, what did this home look like based on the $59 per square foot? And obviously, if the pictures ever disappear, I at least have some comments to myself on what I saw from this photos. And I usually just make some quick comments about the kitchen, the bathrooms, the flooring, the painting. And if you see anything on the outside, obviously make a note of that. So this tells me now in the future, when I look at a 3-bedroom and I'm looking to convert it to a 4-bedroom, I now have better comps here, right? Did this property sell yet? No, no way. I don't think so. Yeah, it's still on the market. So $59 square foot. So, all right. Now, what we want to do is we want to analyze this deal, assuming it is being sold on the market. So I'm going to take $189,900. Let me go to my rehab gallery. I'm assuming the roof is in good condition, so I'll set aside $15 for the roof. Got $500 for landscaping. Just keep it tidy. Now, this property needs a complete new paint job, so 3206, 3206. I'm going to put in new flooring in row 90, 3206. My kitchen, I got to repaint the cabinets. I got to remodel 2 whole bathrooms right here, $8,000 each. Don't need to do any more toilet because I'm already renovating the entire bathrooms. I don't need to add another bedroom. Actually, yeah, I'm not going to do that for this scenario. I'm assuming I don't need to replace any HVACs, water heaters, or anything, but if I do, I would have put it here. So that gives me total rehab of about $70,000. Delete this multiplied by 2 because yesterday I was doubling the rehab as one of our scenarios. So just make sure you check your formulas, right? But this is going to equal to what I had there, $68,000 for a complete cosmetic rehab, probably with some gutting as well inside. So how do I get my monthly income rents? I'm going to go to affordablehousing.com. I'm going to the owner section, the market rent estimator, plug in the address, plug in the bedroom count. It says right here that on average for 24 units, the average rent for a 4-bedroom is $1,520. Now, I've seen most properties at $1,400, so $1,500 seems a little high. So if I were to just take a quick glance at Zillow and just look at properties that are being for rented, I believe our property is right around here. So for properties that are 4-bedroom right now in this area, so this one goes all the way up there at 1150, 1475, half the square footage, 5 days, 5 contacts. So that's 1150. So this probably tells me that this is priced right, but again, pretty far away from my neighborhood. This property is 1325 a month, 1530 square foot, decent condition, 1325 square foot, 44 days on Zillow, 11 contacts. So this tells me that even at 1325, right? General rule of thumb is you want every day you're on Zillow, you want 1 day of contact. This tells me this might be a little overpriced, even at 1325, maybe because it's a different neighborhood. And again, right, this crosses this big neighborhood. Is this a great comp? You're not sure, but at least it's something that's on the market, so you can pay attention to it. But there's this home auto over here for $3,500 a month, right? It's probably in a completely different neighborhood. 64 days and with 4 contacts. I mean, oh, this is selling as a furnished rental, so that's why it's a little different. But still, I mean, that could be the reason why it's convoluting this number and making it higher because it's pulling in other furnished rentals. Because this website probably can't tell when something is the difference between a furnished rental and not a furnished rental. So you can see why that this is 1520. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 1400 because I haven't seen a property manager tell me that I can get above 1400 bucks for a 4-bedroom in 35020. So I'm gonna use that for my rent, and that's a little corroborated by some of the stuff I'm seeing on the market here. I definitely can't do 1500 because I don't see anything for 1500, but that shows me that it's reasonably priced with a reasonable amount of demand. All right, so now I'm gonna have this property right here. I'm gonna get my property tax number from right here. This is gonna be $79 right here from the payment calculator. Obviously, double check with your county assessor records, make sure it's legit. And then this 147 right here for insurance, I'm going to equals 147 times 1.2. And the reason I'm multiplied by 1.2 is because I'm adding a 20% premium. I'm assuming that this insurance estimate right here is for a primary residence property. And when I use it as an investment property, insurance company is going to view that as a higher risk. So that's why I'm multiplying by 1.2 in B29. I'm setting aside 10% of my rent every single month for maintenance, right? You're going to get a roof replacement at some point. If you didn't set aside in this scenario 140 bucks every single month for 100 months, then you're going to get that $14,000 bill for a roof replacement at some point and realize that all the money that you thought you were making, you in fact did not make. And you don't want to be in that position. All right. Don't be the person that underestimated your profitability. That overestimated your profitability because you underestimated your expenses. I had 10% for property management. I got 5% for vacancy. So now, assuming, let's do 20%, let's do 25% down on this property in F19. So my down payment percentage is going to equal to my B4, my asking price, times my down payment percentage of F19. Daddy. I'll be putting in 47.5K on this property. Want to hi? Say hi. Hi. Good job, Soleil. Now I got $68,000 of renovations, and then for my interest rate up here, I'm going to put 7.5% because that's what I see the rates going at. And at my principal amount of my loan that I'm financing is going to equal to my B4, my asking price, minus my down payment percentage. That's going to equal $142,000. All right. So now, assuming I can rent it out this property at $1,400, right? I will cash flow. Yes, Soleil? Negative 201. I'll be negative 201 cash flow. Minus 201. Do the profit just afterwards, right, Soleil? That's a negative 2% return, cash and cash return. Assuming you bought this property at $189,900 with a $68,000 rehab. And that was with 25% down, 7.5% interest rate. So that's obviously not a deal, right? I'm not saying that 10% is a magical number, but you should at least have a benchmark and on what you would expect your minimum target return should be. And let's say your target return is 10%. Well, let's watch what happens when I lower my asking price to the cash and cash return number right here. If I lower this to 100 grand, now I'm at 3.39. And the reason why it's so low is because guess what? Your rehab is so high. So you have a lot of cash out of pocket on this deal. That's why it's so low. You might have to spend $30,000. Does that mean you can buy this property for 30 grand when it's listed for 189? Probably not. But now you know, hey, if I have a property that I can buy for 30 grand that requires a hefty rehab 68, well, I can still get a 10% return. That's a type of scenario planning that you want to go through because now you can cash with $637 a month at the 10% return, assuming you buy this property for 30 grand with a $68,000 rehab. It's probably not realistic, but hey, it is what it is, right? You're going through the exercise and you're understanding what scenario would make this a deal. Yes, Soleil? Yeah, you want to go play? Okay. I'll play with you later, okay? Okay, we'll get lunch after I finish, okay? All right, so that's it, guys. If you guys want a copy of the spreadsheet, go to affordablehousing.io, go to the Get Deal Analysis tool, put in your name, email, your phone number. That's as fast as you get a copy spreadsheet. Again, I didn't make a spreadsheet from scratch. I got it from a few other folks. I combined, I tweaked it, I modified it, added in some of my own numbers. So I can be more conservative, but that is the fastest way to get a copy of the spreadsheet. And my hope is that you copy my homework, right? Use the same deal I analyzed today, using the same spreadsheet. Put it on your own YouTube channel and put in the reps, because if you can stay consistent and you put in 18 minutes a day, you will be better at analyzing deals than 95% of the country. All right. Have an amazing day. I'll see you all tomorrow for day 429. Have a good one, everybody. Again, this is not investment advice, but not soliciting any investments on this call. Have a good one.